Greetings, everyone. This is a little bit uncommon for me because I'm not one to watch a movie and then almost immediately begin to talk about it. But I think it has to be said. I really felt compelled to do this. We spent a good portion of the day just kind of out and about, which is going to be great because I got a lot of collection of images to kind of compile into what may become like multiple vlogs. I don't really know at this point, but there's one reason why I came here right now to discuss, because I think it's very important for me to do so. But I want to talk about Coco, because this movie is big, and I believe it's big for me, and it deserves something of its own review, not just something to kind of talk about in passing, but it really deserves to be talked about on a much grander scale. So if you haven't seen it, and I'll keep it brief, it's a very, very good movie. In fact, I would probably go on to say it's one of the best Disney Pixar movies to date. And although that may be a stretch to folks, I really truly believe it is the best Disney Pixar movie right now, period. Hands down, hands down. As far as animation goes, the story, everything, it is a perfect movie. If you're a parent and you want to bring your kids, definitely bring your children. They're not going to understand it the way you're going to understand it. And that is kind of where I'm going to leave it, because I'm going to get into some really heavy stuff. Possibly spoilers, not possibly spoilers. So, if you haven't seen the movie, but you want to hear more just about my take, because I'm going to be very, very careful about the spoilers, because it is about a subject matter that I may have talked about on social media, but I'm going to go into grander detail on kind of why I feel that way. But if you haven't seen it, and you really don't want to hear too much about the subject matter, or kind of me kind of going over it, now's a good time to stop the video, come back to it again. I'll be waiting for you, but come back to it and we can talk. We can actually have a conversation about it. We'll talk about it. If you have seen the movie, let's continue. And I don't know if I'm going to do spoilers here, but Coco was heavy to me because it has a mix of just a lot of things that's going on for it. It's a mystery movie. It's a very suspenseful movie, but of all things, it's a movie about coping with Alzheimer's. And this isn't a, film theory Pat assumption here, which I'm sure that if that video does get released within the next couple of months, link me in it, in the comments, so that way, I said it first. But for me, the movie represented the effects of Alzheimer's in the family, on both sides. Because again, Pixar does this really weird thing where if a movie is great, they do very little to push it. They do very little to promote it. They do very little to advertise it. They do very little to make you want to see it. You will not see commercials for it. You will not see advertisements. You will not see McDonald's cups or Burger King toys or anything like that. You will not see any promotion outside of the parks anyway, but you will not see any promotion for a movie that they feel doesn't need it. And this movie doesn't need it. It sells itself because the word of mouth is going to make sure that it gets the promotion that it needs. But it talks about a very heavy subject matter. And for me, it talks about Alzheimer's. What does that mean for me? Well, my grandfather passed away from Alzheimer's in 2015. So watching that progression, watching that decline over years and years and years, hurts in a great deal. And it was almost reliving it through Coco. And I think it was literally established really early on. Miguel, the character, says, I live with my grandmother and, she forgets everything, which is a core Alzheimer's, pegged it. But it's blanketed so that way a lot of people don't, they never outright say Alzheimer's. They never ever straight up say this character has Alzheimer's, but they allude to it to a lot of different degrees. And it's blanketed so that way if a lot of people, get it, a lot of people may not get it, it's alluded to it. In fact, there was a really weird scene, well, for me anyway, where the great-grandmother who is affected, she's talking with the grandmother, and she looks at her and she says, "Who are you?" And it's delivered in a very funny manner, and people laughed, but for me, I kind of pegged it early on, so it was hard for me to laugh at that scene. But it's okay. It wasn't something to be upset about. It was just a really awkward moment for a laugh that a lot of people did laugh at. It was probably a very genuinely written, funny scene, but for me, based on the subject matter that I had already pegged that it may be Alzheimer's, and then it happened there, okay, fine, we get it. But the entire movie really goes heavy with the theme of remembering who people are. I think there's a scene where one of the characters, he's dying, and he says, "She's forgetting who I am." And that resonated really, really deep. That whole "she's forgetting who I am" part. So by the end of the movie, the main character is seeing his great-grandmother slowly deteriorating in memory. She's forgetting this character. And plays a song that helps her remember and regain her memory. But there was a lot of things that may have already alluded to memory. Say, for example, one of the concerts that you see that's about to happen is the sunrise concert, which may or may not be deliberate. On one hand, sunrise means, because it's the Day of the Dead, after the Day of the Dead, of course, it's nighttime. The next day is sunrise that he's going to play his concert. So, yeah, sunrise may mean that in that sort of terms, but as far as like the Alzheimer time frame, sunrise is, when they wake up, the memory is at their best, and that's the only time that you'll be able to see them at their complete best, as far as like remembering who you were and remembering where they are and who they are and events. Sunrise is early in the morning. They're really good. Then as the day goes by, they deteriorate worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And the theme of family is, it takes a family to bond together, to work together, to deal with this issue that's hurting them, that's hurting the family. And they're stronger as a group rather than not as a group. So it's important to them. It was important to them to remain a family, to be strong, because when you're suffering loss, it's easy to lash out at things that cause these losses. And this particular one was music. I can go on and on about the effects it may have had on me. I know that at the end of the movie, a lot of people were crying, it's a very sad movie. It does hurt, but it hurt me differently than everyone else. To me, it hurt me different. Now, I can't say that I'm the only one that ever kind of been through this. I mean, I'm pretty sure that, any family that has experienced this type of pain in their life will see what it is. But for me, it was really hard to talk about the movie. It was really hard to vocalize my feelings about the movie. It was really hard for me to breathe. It was heavy. It was a very heavy movie. So I wanted to bring it out here into, the vlog, and just kind of record it and just kind of at least talk about it out loud. It kind of makes sense and process what I saw. I really was kind of intending on watching the movie and giving a quick review about it after it, and then kind of putting it into, one of the vlogs for tomorrow or for today or whatever. But I really felt like I needed to get on here and say something about how Coco, the themes of Coco, when we talk about Alzheimer's and the effects of Alzheimer's on a family, that affected me greatly. And in a way, it still does. And I think about it a lot, because it's a scary situation. It's a scary situation to know that my grandfather experienced it, and it's something that runs in my family greatly. And be honest, it is a very small reason on why this vlog exists. It's just because of that. Never want to forget the journeys I've gone on. I don't want anyone to ever forget any of the stories I've done, or any of the things and fun things I've seen, or fun people I've met, and that includes me. So, will I recommend Coco? Absolutely. I recommend everyone to go and see it. I recommend everyone to go to the theater and watch it and inform your own opinion about it. but it does deserve a watch in the theater. I think this movie deserves to be seen in a theater. If you see it at your house, that's fine, but it needs your full attention. You know, if you're watching it at home and then it was on in the background, and, you know, I was eating dinner and trying to change the kids, and I was working on my homework. It was good. I wasn't really paying attention to it, and the movie doesn't demand 75-80% of your attention. It deserves all your attention, hence why I recommend everyone to see it at the theater. It's that good. So that's it. I wish I had more to talk about as far as this movie goes. I really wanted to just take a couple minutes to go over how I felt about this movie, about Coco, and what it means to me. I mean, there's two movies that really affected me in a big way. Coco was one of them. Up hurt, but Coco was like just the final, like the fatality in it all. And I never experienced a hurt from a movie like that ever. Well, except from the time that I saw Jupiter Ascending, that hurt. But that was a different type of hurt. It was a terrible movie hurt. But that's all I got. Thanks for taking the time of listening to my ramblings about a movie. 100% go see it. Go see it. If you ever have anyone in your family that is affected with Alzheimer's, or if you have been affected in your household, or maybe you're coping with it now, and you just don't know what to do or how to release, go see the movie. I mean, that's the best way I can say it. Go see it, and it'll make sense. It'll make sense. You just don't want to let go of the person they were, or you don't ever want to forget them, or you don't want to forget anything for that matter. And I think that's the point of the movie. It's not so much of the family part that we want to, that it just hammers on. It just hammers so much on like family, which is fine. But don't forget the person that they were. So that's all I got. I know this is a very weird, different vlog from me, because I'm not at a theme park, but if you guys are watching and you guys are affected by that type of hurt, and is way more painful than anything that I can ever describe to you. And if you're in that situation, you already know. So that's all I got. If you guys are gonna do anything this Christmas, I 100% recommend donating to an Alzheimer foundation, any Alzheimer foundation. If I had more, you know, like, and I would love to take that Patreon account and just take it all and just donate it to, you know, Alzheimer awareness and trying to find a cure for it. I want to do something good like that with something that I'm earning like that. So I haven't really figured out. I'm just going to think it out loud. I think seeing the movie has really pushed me in a direction of what I can do to help others, or what I can do to change the world somehow, or change something. I don't know yet. I feel better. All right. That's it for me rambling and looking off into the distance. I appreciate everybody watching. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed me talking to you guys. And I know I'm not wacky, crazy Sean, but I will tell you that right now I am very affected by the movie. And yeah, very affected. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. I'm out, guys. Make the ground shake.